Hello, today is August 5th, 2016, Friday, and here's your cannabis news. Super simple today, really only international things going on. Something about Colombia, something about Puerto Rico, something about Florida, so I guess a little bit hot and tropical, and then some news about the DEA. So Colombia, if you don't know, has actually started producing cannabis. It's one of a few of the Latin America, South American countries that have decided to regulate cannabis. Currently, there's like 5 licenses that have been awarded. There's still more that are in the mix. So this is actually just talking about how fast production can happen in Colombia. The actual agricultural sites in Colombia allow for a 12-hour daylight, nighttime harvest, which is really great. But a lot of the growing will actually be indoors. Most fascinating aspect of this article really was just the price point that Colombia will be able to produce cannabis, much lower than the United States. Also, Colombia allows for exportation, so something really, really huge that, because in the United States it's still federally legal, we cannot do. So that's your Colombian news. Moving on to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico actually passed something last year, last spring of 2015, and now is in really the midst of about to license cannabis operators. And currently I think there's over 20 cannabis operators on the production side that have applied for the licensing, and according to the Puerto Rican government, we can see some of the licensing by hopefully the end of the year. So that's pretty great. If you just head up a little bit north to Florida, the news really isn't super current, but this article was just written yesterday. So Florida, I'm not sure if you're aware, 2014 had a very sad failure, a medical initiative, 58% of the votes, but it didn't pass. In Florida, you need 60% of the votes. There's another medical initiative on the ballot for 2016. But in 2014, there was a CBD law passed. And so finally, 2014, fast forward to 2016, 1 month ago, the licensing of this CBD cannabis operators has come into effect. And this article is really stating, hey, you know what, to get into the Florida game, you better be in big business. Why? Because it's $60,000 just to apply. And this is a non-refundable application fee. And then the other strict requirements really relate to how long you've been in business. So they're looking for actual growers of any type of agricultural product. So you have to be in business for 30 years, okay? That, I think, wipes out a lot of the current growing population of cannabis. And then also you have to demonstrate that you've cultivated over 400,000 plants within that 30 years. So pretty big barriers to entry on top of additional licensing. So they mentioned there's about 6 players that have received licensing so far. The last bit of news is related to the DEA. A June report from the Colorado DEA division was really emphasizing the almost comparing cannabis cultivation, I guess the unlicensed cannabis cultivation, to meth and meth production. You can definitely read the report if you want, but really what they were highlighting is the fact that there's so much electricity, there's odor, etc. I think it's a little ludicrous, but really one of the things that it did point out was that there still is a little bit of a loop allowing for caregivers to have up to 6 plants. I think that's definitely a good thing to have in an adult use market. So interesting thought, not sure how it's going to impact anything else. Well, anyway, that's your news. So TGIF, it's Friday, August 5th, 2016. I'll check you later.